Time to welcome in our football night in New York crew, Vacchiano and Marc Malusis. Guys, we're going to start with the Giants, who are now 0-4, and the only team in NFL history to ever come back from this start and make it to the playoffs is the 92 Chargers. How much blame does Ben McAdoo get in this mess?
Well, I think he gets a ton for this mess. Honestly, he had a team that was an 11-5 team last year. It had flaws, but he was able to coach around it. He didn't do enough to me to adjust with this team. He fixed the offense a little bit going into week 3. That should have started earlier. That should have been a summer-long thing. And now the defense is starting to fall apart, too. It's like he's trying to plug leaks everywhere. He also takes a hit, I think, for some of the personnel issues because he gets a hand in those as well. At some point, he had to say to somebody, look at my offensive line. It's a mess.
Right, and he needs to adjust. I mean, the best coach on that staff a year ago was Spagnuolo handling the defense, and that was why they were an 11-win team. And he expected the defense to be great this year, and they have been great. Handed leads the last 2 games, an inability to hold on to it. Then you get to the offense. You mentioned the lack of adjustments. They were 26th in the NFL. You can get on Jerry Reese as well, but if you're the head coach, you've got to figure out a way to win games. There's enough talent on this team for them not to be 0-4, but here they are 0-4 entering week 5.
Now, you guys both mentioned both sides of the ball, but which is a bigger problem right now, the offense or the defense?
You know what? I still lean towards the offense because that was the biggest issue last year. I know they won because of it, but we knew going into this season they weren't going to be able to score a ton of points. They were going to have problems on the offensive line. The defense is a bigger surprise. I mean, the fact that teams can now run on them is actually a shock to me, but they're better than that on defense. I don't know that they're better than this on offense.
Yeah, I think it's the defense because of the inability to hold on to a lead the last 2 weeks. They had a 21-14 lead in Philadelphia, 24-21 lead, 2 field goals, final 51 seconds down in Philly. And then last week, 3:14 to go. I understand a field goal wins it, but that defense put on the field against Jameis Winston before the start of the year, you'd say, okay, I like the Giants' chances to hold on to the lead. Unfortunately, they didn't do it.
Okay, well, let's switch to the Jets, a team that actually has a better record than the Giants. Don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but is this real gold or is this just fool's gold?
Well, it's definitely fool's gold. I mean, this is not a team that I don't think is going to be a playoff contender. If you're a Jets fan, though, who cares? I mean, enjoy it. They're 2-2 going to Cleveland. They could be 3-2 going into that Patriots game. They get the Dolphins after that. It's not unrealistic to think that the Jets will be 500 halfway through the season. Now, when you look at their team and look at the schedule in the second half, you kind of know a collapse is coming at some point, but take the fool's gold now.
Yeah, and I have a hard time saying it's fool's gold because, I mean, I don't think they're a great team, but I give the team credit for continuing to battle week in and week out, not listening to all the pundits, all of us, saying that basically there's nothing to play for, give up on the Jets season. To a man, they basically said, yeah, heck with you. We're going to go out and win some football games, and that's exactly what they've done. I think Bowles and his staff have done a wonderful job. I like Morton as the offensive coordinator. I don't think this is a playoff team, but they are relevant here in the early month of October, and never thought I'd say that before the start of the year.
And way better, obviously, than anybody. There was no prediction that I saw anywhere that had them better than 4-12. They've got 2 of those wins already. This is a much better team, and Todd Bowles gets a lot of credit for that.
But are wins good for the franchise, or do you think they should lose and try to get a higher draft pick? Are we tank truthers here?
You know, I like that. Look, I was never on board with the idea of tanking. I mean, who knows? We've seen many examples over the years of teams with the 12th and 13th pick doing better than the teams with the 1st and 2nd, and there are many quarterbacks available in this draft. I think you win the games, and you get more out of that for the young players on the team than you do out of the 5 or 6 spots you might move up in the draft.
Yeah, I disagree with you because I do think those quarterbacks, those rare commodities, you want your pick, right? You don't want to have the guy that falls to you. And I understand there are guys that fall. There are examples of guys that fall in the draft that end up being impact players, guys that are drafted high that end up having no NFL careers whatsoever. But if you're the Jets, in order to have sustained NFL success, look around the National Football League, you need that quarterback. So, and you want to have the pick. You want to make the selection, whether it be Allen, Rosen, or Darnold. You want to be able to have all 3 at the table and say, this is the best guy for our team moving forward. So even though I embrace the Jets having 2 wins, and I'm happy for Todd Bowles because I think he's been unjustly criticized here by a lot of people in the media, I do think what's best for the organization long term is getting that franchise quarterback.